buying it for one platform and getting a copy of it for every platform? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And do some kind of grandfathering in grace period for like 6 to 12 months or something that says, okay, we're enabling, this is the policy from now on, and anyone who puts in a petition for it in the next 6 to 12 months gets it, it's grandfathered in who bought before. So that they're not so invested in the iPhone platform. Like you've spent $500, $1,000, $2,000 on all these little apps that you now want to take with you. And we got to stop for a second. Okay, second. Boy, I'm gonna have fun cutting this up. I mean, that's the way I really wish it saw it, because let's face it, most of these applications have, even if it's not called the same thing, a counterpart on other platforms. And it costs about the same. I mean, other than the fact that you've already paid your royalty to Apple on that, who does that really hurt? To say you buy it, you own it now. On all platforms.
Well, it sounds like a win-win situation for the consumer.
And I mean, the argument I hit against that is it hurts the developers, and I don't see how it does. Other than your... Go ahead.
And I would tend to agree with you. I think that it would help the developers, and it helps them get their application or app on every platform. I mean, that's got to be a good thing.
I think the real hindrance to proving that is everything in the iOS store is done through iTunes. And this is a real issue with the with the newspapers. It's like, I don't know if this is on purpose or if this is because there's no way to figure out if somebody bought something in iTunes in an outside system. Because there's these newspapers where, okay, I'm subscribing to the newspaper, but I don't get the iPad app. Or I buy the iPad app, but then I have to buy the website subscription. It's like I don't get one without the other. I don't think this is as big a problem to fix as they make it out to be. I think, even though this is hackable, going back to serial keys and coupon codes, he's like, please present your authentication code. And I'm sure people will steal them, and they'll have to kind of keep an eye on those. But let's face it, if you make it that easy, most people wouldn't steal.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Let's see. Like, what do you think about the fact that Apple was boasting $1 billion, which, what is it, Apple gets to keep 30 cents, I think? It's 33 cents on every app that's sold or something?
Yeah, I thought it was 30%.
Yeah, 30%, so 30 cents on every dollar. So, it's like, I find that funny that they're now boasting $1 billion, which means Apple's made somewhere between a third and half $1 billion on a market they didn't want in the first place. Okay, let's actually get into the iPhone 4 since we've spent an hour talking about everything else. Okay, hang on. Yeah, we've got... Well, what do you think about this new design? Just personal opinion.
You were breaking up. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
What do you think? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. What do you think about this new design for the iPhone overall?
To me, I don't think it's changed a whole lot. I mean, obviously, you look at the thing, and there is some changes. The glass are on the back, but
I think honestly, what they did was they spent the last year, because it's the number one complaint. I agree the iPhone overloads AT&T's network a little bit, But I'm, it's Tiny's a better example of this because he's on the AT&T network too on a backflip, and he never has connectivity issues on that backflip. And I know people on Blackberries, they never have connectivity issues. People on iPhones have connectivity. I think they sat down and said, how can we fix this signal issue and make it look like that's not what we're doing? I'm sorry. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, Steve. But that's honestly how I look at this thing. It's like the front and the back is glass. Well, glass doesn't interfere with radio waves very much.
No.
It interferes with ultraviolet, interferes with infrared, doesn't interfere with radio waves. So it shields signal interference and allows clear signal reception. I also think it fixes... I haven't held an iPhone 4 in my hand yet, so I don't know if I'm... You have an iPhone, so it's probably doesn't bug you. I've always felt like, personally, that the iPhone is too light. It's just, there's something feels off about it. I don't know if it's because of how wide it is, you feel like it should be heavier, but when you're holding it as a phone, not when you're holding it in the landscape mode and other stuff. Like, it's always felt like it should either be a little bit thinner or should be a few grams heavier little thing. And I know glass would be just a little bit heavier. Or is this iPhone actually wind up being lighter because they did something?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's just a little lighter, a few tenths of an ounce lighter than a 3GS.
Okay. So maybe it won't fix that problem for me. This thing feels like it isn't there. I feel like I'm gonna break it or drop it or something. It's saying they move the antenna to the outside to get rid of that problem, or most of them, anyways. So I had mixed feelings about these supposed new features. What about that display? I mean, do you think they're overstating that? People are calling them on that. I still think it's a good display in spite of all of that. I think they do you think they oversold it? Do you think they made a mistake going into the Retina stuff or not?
Well, I think it's a good move on the part of Apple. I don't think Apple they don't ever release something that, say it's a so-so product, or it's a product that gets the job done, or, it just, it's good enough. To Apple, it's magic, it's revolutionary, it'll change the way you live, it'll feed the dog, it'll do everything that you want it to do. So.
Well, no, that's the thing. This one isn't, yeah, it's got a higher display, and yeah, it's got some other features and some other things, but I'm not sure. Well, okay, I shouldn't say this because I'll get my head bit off, but I was kind of underwhelmed by it's even though I hate Apple, you're usually not underwhelmed at an Apple keynote. Even if you hate them, even if you're going, well, I can see all the problems this is going to cause, you're never underwhelmed. And the fact that I think everyone, even an Apple fanboy, if they're honest, probably left that event just being a little underwhelmed. It's...
And going back to the antennas in the 4G for a minute, the demonstration that they had on stage, that was kind of a bad situation.
Yeah, I want to get into that in a second, but we got to pause for just a second.
Okay.
For those of you watching on YouTube, which is probably where you're watching, we apologize for having to pause every 10 minutes.